We want to see Lonnie's face too.
Scoot the camera over, bro.
Yeah, scoot the camera over. We know you got a wife. Why you hiding her, man? I got you, boo. Don't worry about it.
Why don't you do?
Hey, YouTube. Welcome to the Griffin family, where we talk about life, us, family topics, family issues, and we just have fun. So since you're here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And welcome to the family. Okay, so I guess we'll get started. Today we're talking about relationships, the basis of relationships, relationships in general, dating, and everything in between. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Joshua Griffin. You can go ahead and tell us about what's your basis and foundation for relationships?
My basis for relationships is definitely trust, which I honestly struggle with myself. But also a lot of hard work. I'm finding a lot of hard work and communication. So communication is key, especially like when it comes to expressing yourself or the way you talk or anything like that. Communication is key. And when I say hard work, I mean stuff like, understanding how they may feel about situations, instead of just taking your own personal feelings into consideration. You also got to consider that other person.
Okay. You sound like a job interview. This ain't a job interview.
It's not. My bad. I'm sweating.
It's okay. It's okay. Calm down. Breathe.
That was a lot.
It's okay. It's okay. We understand.
So, you did your best, you know?
Yeah. That's why is he looking at his watch? See, that makes me nervous. But yeah, that's my view on relationships. And okay. I mean, it's a lot of other, things that definitely go into relationships. But
you think those are the main ones? You think those are the main points right there?
Yeah. Because now, especially like my generation and younger, a lot of people don't really care and aren't really into relationships.
They just basically effing and going. Effing.
Yeah.
No sole purpose in dating. They just
Rolling Stones out here.
Oh, okay. A lot of
who is?
Wow. Who?
Are the girls?
People his age.
Oh.
People, no, yeah. I mean, people, my generation and stuff. So,
you got ghosts again?
So, I thought I heard something.
You got ghosts again?
But yeah, that's definitely my view. I definitely think that when it comes to
you gotta leave something for everybody else to say, bro.
No, you don't. You he gotta go.
I don't even know what to say.
He's got to go through this every week. Everybody says everything that he's gonna say. He's first.
Let him. That's why you should randomize it. You should randomize whoever goes, Sharita, if you're gonna take turns.
Yeah, we could do that. Next week you can go.
Next week you go first. If you want to go first, we'll do you next.
Just do random order.
Okay.
I think
okay.
Gianni, set the algorithm on the computer for random order, and we'll get it.
All right, I got
you. Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
He's already
that
done. Little did you know, he's already.
I'm working on it right now.
Okay, Jonathan.
What's up? All right. So,
what's the question again? I forgot.
Yeah, what was it again?
What makes a basis, the foundation, the basis of a relationship, the foundation of a relationship? What you think makes a relationship? Sustain the relationship, dating, all that. What you think?
Definitely communication. That's definitely number one. If you ain't communicating properly, then the relationship is not gonna work. Whether it's platonic, romantic, co-workers, it don't matter. If you ain't communicating, the relationship is not gonna work. Also, respect. Respect is right up there with communication. You got to be able to respect yourself as well as the other individual in the relationship. Boundaries got to be set. You got to understand the other person's boundaries, respect them, communicate about them before and after. Make sure y'all on the same page at all times. And then the last one. I mean, it's a lot of things. It ain't just three, but my third point I would definitely say was yeah, I don't have one.
Okay, well that's
cool. At least he's honest.
Yeah, at least he's honest.
Respect.
Can you elaborate?
I mean, I can elaborate a lot more, but I'm gonna let y'all talk because if I say everything, then
you being considerate.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, that's sweet.
I could definitely give a lot.
Because the rest of us wasn't last.
They wasn't. They so wasn't.
But we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I could keep going.
Keep going. Elaborate like the man asked. I'm curious.
What?
Yeah, go ahead, elaborate. What you trying to say?
I mean, so relationships to me need to be 50-50, whether they
what?
50-50. Not sometimes time out, sometimes, depending on the scenario. Yeah, you might have to reach a little bit more when the other person's not doing so. But that should be expected vice versa. If you going through something at that time, that should be understood. So it's not just you constantly reaching, but overall, at the same time, no relationship is going to be successful till you really understand and love yourself. Because people are going to take advantage of it, whether it's in a platonic, whether it's romantic, whether it's at work, people are going to take advantage of you if you don't love yourself. So that relationship, you and yourself, is the number one relationship you need to be really understanding and focusing and knowing who you are as an individual.
I kind of like that.
Go ahead, Gianni.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gianni.
Oh, is it me?
Yeah, because listen, I know you went through a turmoil last night, but we need you back here. I understand what she did to you.
Anyways, so to me, you know, I think the basis of every relationship comes down to three things. It's chemistry, compatibility, and connection. You know, the connection is what you feel like when you feel that, you know, that draw to that person. Like when you look at them, whatever it is, you know, something about them just makes you want to be close and know them and who they are and stuff like that, you know. And then chemistry is like when y'all like work well together, you know what I mean? You can set common goals and achieve those things. You can do things, you know, you can have chemistry with a lot of people. Chemistry is something you even do with work and stuff with your coworkers and stuff like that, you know. Chemistry is that kind of thing that you work well together. And then there's like the compatibility, which is like, you know, y'all have similar goals, you know, you have similar values, you have similar understanding about each other and the things that Jonathan and them were just talking about, you know. Those were mostly like compatibility type things that, you know, somebody has those similar ideals and, you know, that y'all kind of compatible on that level of things. So to me, it all boils down to those things.
Let's see, with connection, because sometimes people have connection, but it'd be like the wrong connection.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can have a bad and toxic and very messed up kind of connection between people. It's all different types of connections. You can have one-sided connections. You know, you can have connections that you know, is wrong time, wrong place. You know, connection is something that's not something that you can like think about. It's just something that's there. It's your emotions towards that.
Okay.
But that's the connection.
So that's important to you. That makes
I mean, it's yeah, but I think all of them are important, right? All of them are important, but if there is no connection, it don't matter what chemistry or how compatible you are. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Meanwhile, you could actually have, a connection with somebody and, maybe the chemistry ain't there. You know what I mean? But you develop it and you build with that over time or something like that. Or, maybe the connection is there and for whatever reason, the compatibility isn't always there, and somehow, the compatibility ends up working its way self out or something else in between, or y'all end up going along with it for a while, just because the chemistry and the connection is there. But if there's no connection whatsoever, then none of it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. But all the rest of it is it's I would say they're all important though.
Okay. Okay. DeAndre.
Oh, me?
Yes.
Listen. All right, so I'm gonna take y'all on the journey.
Oh, okay.
I'm
You
trying.
gotta understand, I've grown as a person because there was a me that used to believe that all relationships were a waste of time and bullshit. Because no matter what, somebody has to leave the other person. No matter what, at some point somebody has to die if y'all do end up staying together forever.
Why you gotta look at the end game like that? That's horrific.
He's right though.
Let him explain.
Let me finish. Okay. So because someone has to leave someone, and at one point, I always thought getting in a relationship was a waste of time because I would never want to do that to another person, leave them so broken and destitute. Like, how do I live without you? Like, we've spent our entire lives together. I never wanted to do that to somebody. But as I've grown as a human being, I realized that not only do we need relationships as human beings, but we need relationships to progress forward in life. And I don't mean that, you're not going to get anywhere without someone else. What I mean is, through our relationships with other people, we push ourselves forward. We see things in other people that we may want to emulate or stay away from. Okay. So I used to think that all relationships were just terrible, but I've realized that relationships come down to a lot of different things. And to me, the most important one has always been communication. Because no matter who you are or what you do, if you're terrible at communicating, you could have like the perfect girl for you sitting right next to you. Y'all could have been together for 2 months and your relationship is on the verge of ending because you're terrible at communicating. It all, to me, comes down to communication. If you can effectively communicate with not just your significant other, but those around you, the rest of the world, people you have just met, if you can effectively communicate, you get a lot further and things are a lot smoother for you than if you can't. But again, I used to believe that all relationships were bullshit.
I have to agree with you on that situation. I understand exactly what you mean when you talk about, the ultimate end of everything having to do that. And you say that, just like you said, but I recognize what you're saying too when you say the position has changed just to understand that, not only do you need people, but people have purpose for you in certain situations, and especially as a being and especially as growing who you are and stuff. But like I even think though when you talk about those things like communication and stuff like that, again, I have to say those things are all things that just relate to, well, back to what I was saying was compatibility, because and that's a person who has done the work for themselves to have those communication skills and talk about those and be a person like that. But that again, that's a compatibility issue, and some people ain't compatible just because they just haven't taken care of themselves.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
I kind of agree with what you're saying, Gianni. I have to say that I wouldn't put the communication factor solely on compatibility. I think that some people communication would just fall under connection, simply because it's easy for them to communicate with one another, not necessarily because of how they may have grown up or built themselves up to effectively communicate, but just because that's naturally how it is for them with that person. Because I can communicate with her now differently over work, but even before that, what drew us close together was the fact that we could communicate easily with one another, and that was just connection. And so, I mean, I get what everybody has said. In a sense, we've all talked about communication, it kind of being a factor, or for some, the biggest factor, but definitely in that, I think it's different for different types of relationships or people. Some people will fall differently.
Everybody not the same.
Yeah.
And that's why I say effectively communicate, because we don't all communicate the same way. We don't all speak the same language. Some people are just solemn, quiet people, and they communicate with other solemn, quiet people. Great. But people are talking and we're like, yo, I need some communication. I need some back and forth with you. You being quiet all the time don't work with me.
You know,
But then you're talking about preference versus like being what's the word I'm looking for? Being a good adult, being a good communicator. You know what I mean? Because you can have people who are quiet, right? You know what I mean? But if you can't do something as simple as communicate your needs. You know what I mean? Communicate that you want something out of this situation. You just expect it or something else like that. Then that's just not you being a solemn, quiet person. Like, you know what I mean? That's you being a problem. That's you being a problem with communicating. That's a skill that you develop.
Yeah, because I know everybody don't have that skill.
Like you're saying effective, because effective is different in different situations for different people. That's why I keep saying,
of course. But
in a specific good or bad, because I don't believe in good or bad in those terms, because they're both subjective words. What you think is good could be bad for someone else. What someone else thinks is terrible could be the greatest thing in the world for someone else.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about good or bad. I'm talking about actually getting what you need and things like that out of the situation and those kind of things. And that's a way to, that's an important, as a person, you know, as an individual, that's a skill that you need to be able to have.
Okay, Herbert and Ronnie.
She's younger than I am, so.
What's the question?
Yeah.
Oh, what makes it? What's the basis of the foundation of a relationship? Put it like that.
Okay, the foundation of a relationship. Unconditional commitment. Unconditional commitment to have unconditional understanding and unconditional acceptance. So once you have all of those things, communication is learned. That's not something that you have immediately. So if you can understandably between you and your partner say, okay, we're in it, like you're my bury the body man, like that's it. Then
it's serious.
Then that's it. You know what I'm saying? Then there's no turning back. Once you both agree that we're in it for the long haul, it's no matter what it is. I understand you're not perfect. I understand that things are gonna come up. I understand we're gonna fight. And I unconditionally accept that, because I unconditionally accept you as a person.
Oh, even they flaws.
Absolutely.
All of it.
Because you know Herbert got that one toe. I ain't gonna say nothing. But anyway.
Right.
We're not gonna stick on
I
that.
got all the toes.
Why you gonna act like he's the only one?
I got all the toes.
I just have one thing to that. And my problem with it is this idea of unconditional acceptance of a person. And only because I know there's like toxic, and I've been in that situation where I've unconditionally, you know, accepted a person as who they are and stuff like that. But who they were was problematic. It was at best problematic. Okay. So then you say to yourself,
Yeah, but then you have to look at it, Gianni, and say, okay, you put all your unconditional everything into that person. But when both people put unconditional parts in, that means you move fluidly. And you
Yeah.
have this change and move together, not
So that means
one person.
if y'all both
That means
accept
she
each
wasn't
other
in
for
there
being
unconditional. That
She
means
was
one
she was
person
there to
wasn't.
me. It sounded like she was there for herself.
so
Yeah.
It didn't have nothing to do with
Exactly.
so that means if y'all both unconditionally accept each other as drug addicts.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
you
Yeah, I mean, you
unconditionally.
can make
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
work with two
yeah,
drug
yeah.
addicts.
That's
You
Two
unconditionally
because
accept that
Two
both of you have
drug
a
addicts.
problem.
y'all both
Two
is like,
broke
I'm a drug
people.
addict.
That's
You a drug addict.
compatibility.
Let's shoot up
You make
this.
anything
Let's shoot
happen.
this
All
fitting
that,
all
yeah,
together.
That fits your
Yeah.
description. No,
Yeah,
like,
it
I mean,
does.
as long as you
Unequally yoked. It does go with the
and
scripture. So
communicate.
I mean, it does, right?
it does.
But just
Uh-huh.
because that is something that I would say is I wouldn't say that just because you have all of those things that the relationship is necessarily healthy. And that's the difference.
That's your opinion.
That's the
though.
difference. If we talking about healthy relationships, then
We
that's a
didn't-
complete
She didn't
different
say nothing about
situation.
drug dealing though, or
I'm
drug
just giving
using.
an example though. I'm just
No,
giving
that
an
was a
Two
great
drunk-
example to
extreme.
try and pull that
Extreme
out.
example. It's an
Right.
extreme example. It's an
That's
extreme example.
that's definitely extreme.
It
I
is. It
just
is. It
think
is.
that if you're
I
gonna
do, but I
let
just
someone
say
That's extreme, though.
understand that they're gonna change. Like I need someone who's gonna understand that I'm not going to be the same person 5 years from now, and you need to understand that that's just gonna be me and roll with me. Like either you with me or you not. Like
Mhm.
period. We bury in the body, or you can roll out the car. Like
Right. I agree with you, Lonnie. If we're gonna be on the ID channel together, we're gonna be on the ID channel together.
That's right.
That's how we gonna make this work.
we going
So-
down forever as we
Right.
never did it. We don't know what you're talking about.
I'm with y'all. Right. We didn't do it.
I agree with that.
Who tell me who's seen us.
Nobody.
Okay, so I've listened to everybody. I would say the basis of any relationship 100% requires two people. Message. Go ahead.
That's
That
it.
is true.
Yeah, bro.
I can't deny that.
I don't know.
What about these
That's not all true.
triangulation?
That's not all true. That's not all true. According to John, like you can have that relationship with yourself.
Yeah, I
but
don't
you need to find
necessarily.
that
So,
first.
in all seriousness, though, relationships require healthy relationships, and we're gonna get specific because everybody ain't really worried about relationships. They want healthy relationships, and no relationship is gonna be 100% healthy. But as long as you and your partner are willing to, like my wife said, work with one another on a consistent basis and know that you're in it for good. Yes, you need trust. Trust can be built. It's not going to be there over time. Communication is going to be built, also learned, however you want to slice it. But at the end of the day, you got to know that you there. And Gianni's right. Toxicity exists. And you don't want to be with somebody that is toxic. But for people who have been in those situations, it's difficult to tell that you're in that situation while you're in that situation. And even if it's not difficult for you to tell it, at some point, you've grown so accustomed to the toxicity that you don't even realize that it's toxic.
Yeah.
And so that's when you begin to fight with friends and family members or whatever the case may be, of people who trying to tell you that this ain't good for you or healthy, and you either notice the changes and you work on yourself like Jonathan said, or you don't notice the changes and you continue to be miserable. I personally think that we have all gone through things that aren't healthy. Whether it's in a relationship, I'm probably in the longest relationship for us anyway. And we've grown together.
About it, huh?
No, it's
Right.
not a brag.
How long y'all been together anyway? How
That
long?
sound like a brag.
It's not a bragging moment. Listen, so people are always like, oh my God, we want y'all, like people need to hear y'all and know what it takes to be like y'all. Like, no, it's difficult. Like it was difficult. We had a lot of bumps and bruises, but we were willing to grow with each other. I mean, it was pains on both sides of the party. And obviously one side probably think.
Who was the other side? Bonnie, I got your back. I know it wasn't you. Thank you, my sister. Us girls gotta stick together.
Yeah, that's the problem now.
Okay.
I think
You gotta stick it together.
truth is being told, man. I'm telling you, you just have to be willing to work, man. Work, work, work. It takes and requires work. It takes and requires a short life of holding grudges and pains and hurts. It takes a lot.
You have to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. I'm learning
You don't immediately
still.
just get to a place. It's constant work.
Yeah, and it seems so easy for y'all though.
I mean,
Don't it make? Don't they look? Don't it look easy? Don't they make it look easy?
It's not always easy.
It don't look
easy.
easy.
As someone who lives with them, the shit's not easy. They put a lot of work into
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I'm not envious because I'm not jealous, but I would love to have a relationship with someone where we both are committed to each other and to making it work the way they are. Because they're committed to their relationship, and you can tell. It's not like, oh, I'm with her, so I'm with her. It's like, I'm with her. I love being with her, and I'm gonna do everything to make this the best thing in the universe for both of us. Like, they take care of each other. Like, one of them could be having the worst day on the planet. That means they both having a bad day, and they're gonna go through it together.
Yeah.
So as somebody who lives with them, I can tell y'all, like, their relationship, they put work and effort into their relationship. It just seems easy because of how
on the outside.
but it's important, man. We check in. We make sure, how are you doing? Am I loving you the right way? We check in with each other to make sure that we are meeting the other person's goals and needs, because they change. It's just like regular goals and needs of your own self and individual. Like, your stuff is going to change what you need relationship wise. And so you have to check in. And, and the other person needs to be honest, because if you're not honest with me when I ask you, like, how am I taking care of you? Am I doing all right? On a scale of 1 to 10, for example, like, give me the number. And then once they tell you it's a 6 or 7, take that, let it digest, and don't be defensive about it. Legit, just ask, like, what can I do to be better for you? Because the truth be told, we all want our own needs to be met 100% of the time, right? We all want our own needs to be met. But when you meet the partner that you're with, if you meet their needs on to your ability, the best of your ability, 100% of the time, you will notice that they are willing to make changes for you
and meet
your needs, because you are taking care of them, or at least they try. Yes, exactly. And so it goes hand in hand. You're not always going to be, it's not going to always be a 50-50 type situation. You're going to be 60, they're going to be 30, or 70 and 30, or 60 and 40, whatever the case may be.
90-10 sometimes?
I absolutely agree with
I wouldn't say,
I think I want my future relationship to be like a 90 and a 10. Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's toxic.
Yeah,
maybe,
too.
maybe a 70.
What you say, Gianni?
I do think you touched on a couple of important things that you were just saying, and that's important too. That that 50-50 is not always the case. That is ideal. It's ideal.
It is ideal.
What we want to aim for. It's where we want to be. Sometimes it's going to be 90-10.
And that's true. But the fact of the matter is, if you can say you're doing 100 to try and make the other person happy, and they're doing 100 to try to make you happy, you're gonna cross all paths. It's just gonna be like that.
Even if what that one person is doing is small, compared to what the other person's doing, but when y'all come together, it still make 100.
Yeah. But then, like I say too, is understanding that. Well, it would be ideal in most of these people's situations that we would, even in those moments where it is unfair, there's appreciation and a respect for the effort that the person is putting in and the things that the person does for you. So and then it's also too now I'm blinking out the whole aspect of what you said when it came to like what you can do for that other person. You know what I mean? And how to get that other person. I think a lot of times now, and it's very, even the way people go out and look for people is what can they do for me? You know what I mean?
Instead of what they can do for the other person.
Exactly. What can you do for them? What can you do for them? And don't take that too far to the point that you become, you know, and this is
stepping stool for everybody.
exactly.
You
Yeah,
constantly
Somebody
walk.
that's
codependent.
always
There's a
trying to
balance.
give,
Become a
give.
codependent.
There's a balance. There's
Exactly.
definitely a balance. And I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
everybody probably have their own limitations as far as what they are willing to give or how far they're willing to go for a person. But to be honest, if you know that person, because you have to have, and that's kind of the trust stability of a relationship. Like you have to feel as though that person will definitely go as far as I'm going for me, for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
And that's a learning thing to trust
It
each
is
other
learning. It is learning.
and build that kind of thing. Absolutely, I agree.
Exactly. You can't bring, and
there.
aside from, you know, it obviously requiring two people and selflessness, you really have to be conscious about the fact that people are going to change. Nobody is going to remain the same. You know, you hear dudes talking about, oh, I got married and she changed. Like, no, you got married and you probably changed, and so did she. Because what happens is you get complacent and you content with where you at, and then they not content with where they at. So they start making small changes that you're not even being aware of.
Oh yeah, or
so
even to the point they feel like they got you. So
yeah, exactly. So now I got
it?
you. I don't have to continue to do the same things to keep you. Like, you here now. Where you gonna go?
Yeah.
And so you just have to be 100% aware of the fact that things are going to change and you have to adjust with it. It's as simple as that. And you adjust with the fact that your life gets harder as you grow because you're getting older and now you got bills and you got to do this and you got to do that. Like, you adjust with that.
On the topic of change, right? Just real quick. I know where people change, right? But I also feel like this is a reason why it's important to not get into relationships, permanent relationships for young people. I honestly, truly believe.
You think they should wait?
You should wait at least till 25. At least till 25 to actually get married. And because
I agree with that. I agree with that too, because you need some time to grow in individually.
As much as we change, so one of the things that does happen over time as an adult is, even though you may change, your values will essentially start to solidify. You know what I mean? Even though to the point that maybe a temperament change, maybe you want to change jobs, you know, maybe you want to change locations to where you live. You know,
or religion.
Or religion. But your values, they will solidify over time. No matter, they'll start to solidify to the point to what you think is important, what you want out of your life. You know, those things will start to solidify, and those things won't change as much. So that's why, like, it's important when you find those people later on in life that, you know, with those similar values, is that even though the person may change, even though all the rest of this other stuff around them may change, the values are still there. And that is what still keeps y'all compatible, even in the middle of all that change.
I like that answer. Yeah, I can see that's like a basic foundation. Then, you know, even the little things changing, you know that person that you fell in love with is still
the
there.
Values is still there. The values is still there. So you compatible still on that level.
I can agree with that. I was gonna say that it all depends on the individual as well, in regards to, you can't really put time frames. That's one thing that I find the world likes to do, is put time frames on everything. You can't do that. Everybody's different. Every relationship is different.
Facts.
Two people might meet, know each other, I mean, for a month, end up getting married and be married for 60 years.
True. Which I've seen that. I've seen that where people got married in 2 or 3 days and been married for 16, 20 years.
And they decide to really get to know each other and not date for 2 years, get together, 5 years later, they separate. It all depends. You can't really put time frames and labels on things. People.
So basically, I think you could just have
I do agree with you, Jonathan. I do agree with you. But I do also agree there are certain milestones that either take time to reach, right? Or that if they are reached sooner and faster in certain situations, they are still important because they need to happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even before you to sit there and say that this is that person, whatever your decision is. If you say you want to marry the person, whatever, even dating them, even going and saying you're going to be my significant other, right?
Yeah.
There are certain milestones that should be reached before you reach those conclusions.
Mhm.
And yeah, you're right. There is no time frame that you can set to them, but I can say this: some of them require a bit of time themselves, just by the nature of themselves. Not necessarily, not always, but generally speaking, for them to happen, they take time.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Okay. Well, I guess I go next. I ain't did nothing. Y'all pretty much said everything. I'm Joshua this week.
Don't take that.
I'm Joshua this week.
Oh my
Y'all
God.
pretty much said everything. And but I
Well,
guess
tell us some of your stories.
Oh, snap.
well
If you want to.
I know.
Strangers are gonna
And
see
when I
this,
was
so.
Jonathan's age and Joshua's age, I was just silly, I was still silly, even after in my 30s, just silly, just dumb. And I was making like real bad decisions on dating. I was just picking up stray cats and stray dogs and bringing them home, and ain't vetting them out. They ain't taking time to vet them out. So, I think when it comes to relationships and dating, you do need to have a concept of who you are. You need to know yourself. You need to know your boundaries. You need to have some standards for yourself and rules for your person, your thoughts and your person. How far you gonna go before you do anything, and get to know the person, characteristics, get to know the person's consistent behavior patterns before you just say, oh, I'm gonna make this person my boo. You need to at least know the person. You're not gonna know everything about the person, but see the person's consistency, how they treat you, how they treat other people, and even if they have kids, how they do their children. You need to know, look at that person and pay attention to that person. And just because they say they saved and sanctified and filled with the Spirit don't mean nothing. Anybody can say that. I had to learn that throughout all these years of dating all these pastors and things throughout the year. I learned that street men are more better than the Christian men out in the church house. So they'll treat you a lot better than the ones at the church house. I hate to say that, but they do. And so through my dating stories, I have many, but the ones I've learned.
Okay, so I got a question. Oh, if you done, Sri, are you done?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I do. Everybody else said similar things that I would have said.
I got a question for y'all. Okay.
That's unacceptable.
Everybody on the scale from 1 to 10, how important are goals?
In dating?
Oh, really?
For somebody to have goals.
Oh.
Okay.
10? It's all 10, everybody?
I need somebody to have some kind of
you don't have to just
direction. I need somebody to have some kind of direction with their life. Because if you ain't got no direction in your life, where are we going together? You gotta.
I think it's about an 8. I think it's an 8. I think you need to be. 8. I think you need to have a sense of where you're going, but you don't technically have to have like, boom, this is it for me.
Right. I still need it.
Jonathan
I need
came down from 10 to 7 now.
No, I'm still at a 10.
Jonathan said,
I'm just saying, like I've had goals, and then I'll be like, you know what? At this stage in my life, that's not really a goal for me.
Listen, though, this is what I'm saying.
Like, I need to reassess my goals.
This is what I'm saying, though. This is what I'm saying with the goals, though. What I'm saying is a goal. That don't mean if you switch the goal, that's fine. I just still need you to have a goal.
His goals every day is to eat a bowl of Frosted Flakes and play video games. He got goals.
I don't want that goal. I need you to do something.
He got
So
goals.
see, then you talking about not just having goals, but having
ambition.
Ambition.
Yeah, I need ambition.
Okay.
I don't need goals, because I'm gonna be 100% honest. My goal most of the time is to not kill myself. So I don't feel like I need goals from other people. As another person doesn't have goals, I completely understand that. But
Nigga, you got
This
goals.
ambition thing y'all talking about.
You
I
got
don't think
goals.
that,
You got goals. Yeah, don't you want to be a cook or something?
No,
I don't want
nigga.
I
He
just
wants
want
to
Get that
walk.
PS4 though.
He wants to drive. He
Oh,
wants to be
have
able to
more
go and live
more
with
Yeah, he
kids.
wants.
where his girl is. Like, he has goals. They may not be centered around like
career and
ambition.
nothing like that.
But see, that's the whole thing. It goes to you might be really ambitious, and there's somebody else that might not be that, but that's okay.
Yeah, those are, at least it's a goal. At least it's a goal.
Oh, right. At least they trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Also, we're not gonna brush. We're not gonna brush over the fact that one of his goals is to not kill himself every day.
We don't.
No, I'm not. I think that's a good goal not to.
I just don't want him to feel like we're not gonna acknowledge that. I just don't want to.
I feel like everybody kind of has that goal, but we don't like vocalize it.
well, no, but where the matter that he's saying it is that he don't really have a desire to be alive sometimes.
Yeah.
As opposed to,
I have the opposite. I have the desire for other people to not be alive.
That's not funny for me. That's not funny because she is telling the truth.
No, I can tell. I can tell.
At times that's scary. It's not. Everybody's still laughing. It's not funny.
Well, you need to keep your eyes open, bro, and don't mess up.
I'm not scared for my own life.
Okay.
Just my wife possibly ending up in jail is like constantly a thing. Lately, it's been a lot better though. She's doing better. I want to praise you for that, babe.
Thanks,
You're doing a good job.
Thanks.
I'm proud of your accomplishment.
I noticed that
everybody. I'm proud of their accomplishment.
She took over DeAndre's great gift giving idea and continued to give me bottles of liquor. But I hear her talking about, so every month a new liquor of my favorite kind of alcohol gets delivered to the house. But she's been talking about Molotov cocktails a lot lately. And I have a lot of bottles that's got like just a little bit of alcohol in them. She said, no, don't drink them all. You don't want to drink it all. You want to have the different bottles, you know what I'm saying? So you can have a variety. I'm like, but if nobody's drinking the one that's a variety, how come I can't just finish it off? Like, nobody's allowed to drink that. I'm starting to put two and two together. Like, I see like
she's starting to say right.
Yeah, exactly. And these are the bottles that were used to throw those cocktails. Like, that's how I'm seeing it.
Imported from Mexico.
Now that I think.
Best bottles.
That's good. I'm glad you guys have a good relationship. Y'all been together for a long time, with 11 plus years, 16. 18.
It has not been that long. Nigga.
He's not that old.
It has not been that long.
I don't know.
It's been 10.
10. Okay. That's
10 blessed years.
That is
I just wanted to touch real quick on goals because I didn't get to say anything.
Oh yeah, that's a question. Go ahead.
I would understand that everybody's saying 10. You gotta have some goal, right? But then it's like, do you gotta have long-term goals? I would put that as long-term goals is like a 9. You gotta have at least one long-term goal, at least one, right? And then like you gotta have some short-term goals, right? But then you have similar goals or ambitious goals. I put those two at the lowest. You know what I mean? Those, you can have very different goals and still be good. I mean, for me at least, because I'm flexible, but I know some people, you probably wouldn't deal with somebody who had, very different goals because, that would interfere with your plans or whatever else, your own set of things. But I'm kind of flexible. So if you ain't got exactly similar goals, I kind of understand. I put that as like a 7, but then having or 6 actually. Or having ambitious goals, I put that at like a 5, because you don't need to be ambitious. You as long as I think the person is making themselves happy and becoming a better human being or something like that.
But all I know is I just need you to have a goal.
You just need you to have a goal.
I need you to have some vision.
Yo, you was deep in thought, my nigga. You was looking up. I see the bubbles going.
I was looking at the birds.
I didn't think it was a bubble.
I was like, my dude got this popping off right now, man. I'm trying to get on that level. He got it all.
It's it was the birds outside the window. I was watching.
I know it's some birds on them apps. That's what I know.
Anyway,
My bad.
It's still Lord. But yeah, I don't know. I know for me, I need stability as well. I forgot that part.
Stability.
You're already stable, sis.
No, I need my person to come in.
Him to come in stable.
I need him to come in stable. I don't need him to come leeching off of me.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, I need you to
What
have.
kind of stability are we
Has
talking
anyone
about?
ever had leeches?
I had
What,
leeches.
bro?
You
You have
remember?
leeches.
You remember? I have had.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Jonathan?
Joshua, you have.
Anybody ever watched
But
TV on the Toshiba?
I want to say to answer Gianni's question. I'll say 7.
7 on goals.
Yeah, on goals. Yeah.
Oh, he did that. All right.
Okay, here's another question. How important is sex in your relationship? As part?
20,000.
It
Okay.
depends. It depends on the person you with and how they feel. But as a every person has their own amount
I
of
agree.
what's acceptable for them
Yeah.
weekly or whatever, or monthly or however often.
You might have to compromise. on that.
Personally, like
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
personally for me,
Yep.
it's a 7. But for everybody else, it's different. It's different.
A 2.
They got
I'm at
their
a 1
different
or
needs. They got
2.
their needs.
Right.
But
And
I'm
that's what I'm
working
saying.
on
Like
it.
it's different for every person. And then,
And
when
gay
you
sex drive
together,
and stuff.
y'all have to compromise or whatever the case may be, or you just like rabbits and you always on top of each other. or
I
whatever.
know you two are.
And you end
Yeah,
up with
yeah,
12
we know about y'all.
nasty.
12
What are y'all
kids
talking about?
having ass. Huh?
You can have sex 12 times a year and still have sex and get pregnant and have a bunch of kids, right?
Is that what happened here?
That makes sense.
No,
I'm not saying that's what happened to us. That's what happened to us. I'm saying that can happen. Like you,
I'm gonna throw out there.
once a month can still get you pregnant a bunch of times. I'm just saying. It's-
Look,
Okay.
sex is a 10. Okay, I don't care if you ain't got no goals, but if we can't, it's over. Okay.
For a lot of
So
people,
you telling me nobody can have before you get married to this person? You have to have sex.
True
oh,
story.
I didn't know that's what you were saying.
No, I mean that's another question. This is another whole question.
No, I don't think that it's a requirement.
My sex life was horrible because she was scared of orgasms. So I
Ooh,
never
what?
got to finish.
What?
Hey,
What?
What?
Somebody was scared of an orgasm.
It happened.
it happens.
That's a
There is
baby
women
girl.
out here who's scared of
It's a
orgasms.
phobia.
Who was it?
Or
I'm
it's
not
called
putting her name out there,
orgophobia.
but anyway,
Orgophobia.
Orgophobia.
our
Orgophobia.
relationship
Look it
ended
up.
because I never got to finish because she was scared of hers. So like it ended our relationship because the sex life was so bad. So yes, sex
You
is
needed to
intense.
heal from something, bro.
Yeah, maybe you should have worked with her on that. It
You
could have
needed to
got
heal from
better.
something. Not saying that it's your responsibility for her to heal. I mean, if you wasn't comfortable in the relationship, you have a right to leave. Yes, but she need to heal on something.
That's totally different.
Yeah, but he right. It probably ain't your job to heal her, but you did right. It was good to leave her though. You was right because you weren't getting satisfied, and she just was scared.
I'm not feeling it. Whatever.
I'm just saying, I think we've all had that moment where we had a bad connection for the wrong, or we had a connection but for the wrong reasons,
Mhm.
Whether
I
we were
had a
trying to
lot
help
of
the
connections.
person,
Crazy women.
For
love
the
the
wrong
person.
reason. Mhm.
You know how like I'm attracted to psychotic women. Like the crazier she is, the more attractive she is to me.
Yeah, that's how I feel about men.
Like that may be something that you may want to explore for you.
That's why I'm in therapy.
That's
I've been
what I mean.
exploring it. That's why my relationships keep failing. Okay.
Yeah, my
Not
relationship
explore it in the way
I'm
of
just,
that way.
and it
Where you're
scared
like,
me all to not want to have one altogether. Not to have a relationship altogether.
I don't think
So
I
how do you deal with my crazy?
Exactly.
How do you?
But you know
I'm
what,
already-
Herbert, it's good that you patient, because most men, they wouldn't put up with the crazy.
I've already committed myself.
All of
I'm not,
my
I'm not-
personalities.
She has a
Yeah.
few.
The
He ain't got no. He ain't got no choice now because one of these bitches will kill his ass if he try to go.
All her personalities is not
Right. One of them will come up.
How important
Very important.
is patience.
It's extremely important.
It's really important.
But you have to have
Good.
it has to be healthy patience. You can't allow yourself to say this person is going to change, this person is going to change, and then 8 years down the road, this person is doing the same, and then 15 years later, this person is doing the same, but no changes have been made to adjust the negative behavior that was happening or whatnot. And you know,
I think you're wrong, bro. I think as long as you see a little bit of progress, bro,
so progress comes with changes being made.
Habits being made. I agree with that.
You're not going to be a different person unless you change something. And so
unless you want to change.
So hear me out. I don't think anybody should get into a relationship with anybody and then have the expectation that that person's going to change. Because I feel like the expectation that the person is going to change makes it sound like, not just sound like, oh, there's already something wrong with that relationship, and you're hoping that he changes or that person changes to make it better. But at the same time, it's also feeds into this unhealthy relationship loop of, if I get with this person, then since people change, that person may change to better. So I'm going to stay with them through all this insanity, hoping that things get better.
You speaking on the sense of getting into a relationship knowing that it's toxic in the first place.
Yes and no.
True.
Yeah, because you know when the person show you who they are, a person show you. Yeah, but when a person show you hard in the beginning, you should trust to believe that. You should be like, well, they say they gonna change, they gonna do X, Y, and Z. No, they already giving you red flags. You might as well just let that go, cut your losses, and keep it going.
They need to work on
that.
themselves.
Ain't nobody try to change that.
That's not for you. That's not for you to change. They gotta change.
They gotta want to change it. It ain't for you to try to fix it for them. That means they just not the person for you.
To be willing to accept change, but not expect changes, I think what it should.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with that aspect of it.
I can agree.
Because I do think that sometimes people do end up getting together and not necessarily being ready for each other at that moment, but because of the connection or the chemistry of the whole situation, they end up working through that situation and getting to that and change it for the better.
Okay, so one time one of the ladies at my church was like, you should his name was Deacon Ricky. Well, that's his nickname. That's not who he was.
Ricky.
Yeah, but we called him Pretty Ricky. Anyway.
5 a.m. and I'm again.
So we just gonna call this person Ricky. That's not really what his name is, but that's what we're gonna call him. Okay, so
Deacon Rick, what's up, play? I know
Deacon Ricky. And so it's so long ago. This is like so long ago. Anyway, they was like, yeah, he's a nice man. You should date him, blah, 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 blah. Go on a date with him. And I was like, okay, we're going to go on a date. He was way older than me or whatever. And I think I was in my 20s at this time. He was way older than me. Okay. And he wanted to take me out on the date. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So where we want to go? He's like, no, I just want to cook something for you. I said, that's fine. Okay, that's cool. You could cook something for me. So the night that he was supposed to come and bring everything, he called and said, I ain't got my car or something. He made an excuse for not having a vehicle. And he was like, you still want to go on this date? And I was like, yeah, sure. Out of desperation. Yeah. So yeah, I said, I'll come pick you up, because I'm desperate. And so I go pick him up, and we get there. I get there. He come out, his pants all the way up to his knee ankles, his stuff all the way up here, his shirt unbuttoned. All you see is chest hair. He's got that cologne all just, in the little bald spot in the top. So anyway.
How much older?
No,
he's almost 20 plus. And so that's how you desperate, because you ain't, And he was like, but I said, okay, where the food? He was like, he ain't had a food. He didn't have the food. And I was like, okay, well, he's like, I just need to stop by the store and get the food. I said, okay, that's fine. Let's just stop by the store. We stopped by Walmart. We stopped by Walmart to get the food. And we get to Walmart. I'm putting everything in the car. He putting everything he gonna fix in the car and everything. And then he was like, okay, we get to the checkout line. He pulled out his card and they said, sir, this card declined. He said, how's it declined? It's EBT. I said, dude.
Oh God.
I said, dude, I was like, oh my goodness. He was like, no, try it again, try it again. He said, and I walked over there, he keeps sticking this EBT card in there, trying to run it through, but it was declined each time. And then they run it and said they didn't have no money, maybe like $1 or something on there. And then he was like, can you just go ahead and pay for these? I'll give you your money back later. Just go ahead and pay for these groceries. And so like this how gullible and not stupid I was. I went ahead and paid for the groceries. And then we get to my place to cook or whatever. And then he couldn't, and he cooked. And then, it was good and stuff. It would taste real good. I mean, or whatever he cooked, but he couldn't tell me. So in the conversation, he couldn't tell me what happened to him in the last 20 years. Okay. And I kept asking him questions and I couldn't get no direct answer.
That's scary.
To the end of that, I took him home and they never went back to pick him up again because something wasn't right. So then I called my friend. I said, and I told her today, she bust out laughing, talking about that's funny. I said, ain't nothing funny about this. You hooked me up with this man. Talking about he a good catch. And then finally, I get back to the church house and I talked to some other deacons and stuff, and then they explained to me, oh, you went on a date with him. I said, yeah. He was like, that van he driving got the convicts coming every Sunday. I said, what you mean? Come to find out, he was an inmate and on probation. I just had the worst luck. When he come to me all together.
Wait, can we hear the story about the man on America's Most Wanted though?
You can't call that
luck.
Yeah. The man on America's Most Wanted though.
Forget all about them, man.
Oh my God.
So that dude I dated. So we was sitting in the living room. So this is a whole nother dude.
Yes.
I dated.
Oh my God.
And he used to deliver my furniture. Well, that's how I met him. He delivered my furniture. So one day we dated really quickly. So one day we sitting on my couch, his phone blowing up. It's just blowing up. And then we on there, we watching the news, we talking, and they said on the screen, on the news, Arkansas's Most Wanted, right? And I was like, wait a minute, that picture look familiar. It's him, okay? It's dude. And he on the couch talking to his friend, and he looking up and he just bust out crying. And then, they had a reward for him or whatnot. And I'm looking like, I was like consoling him and stuff. And I was like, let's just go to the police station.
No.
Did it work?
Yeah, I took him down there.
Oh, you got, how much you get?
I forgot. I think it was like a $500 reward or something.
That's it.
But then he called and he was like, you gonna put some commissary on my books? You want I kind of broke up with him while he was in jail. But anyway, my dating life has sucked over the years. And I think
you should do a video series where you just tell stories.
There's story time with Sharita.
Yeah.
Woo.
Speaking of red flags, y'all, what's some red flags besides FBI Most Wanted? Things that you know.
Somebody, long distance relationships.
You think long distance relationships is a red flag?
Come on now.
I wouldn't go that far.
No.
For me, it was. Not if they close like a couple, like a city away, I can go to in the same day. I think it's okay. But if you just like in like 4-5 states away, you really don't know what that person is doing and who that person really is.
That's where the trust come in though.
Nah, bro.
I'm with
I
you.
don't need to trust that.
I don't trust
need to
that.
trust
I don't trust
I mean, that
that.
depends on the individual.
No.
I don't think that's a fair assessment to say that that's like a real toxic red flag.
Well, I just know the last one I was in, he stole my money, and I ain't got time.
Yeah, he was a big walking red flag. He
That was a big walking red flag. But you know what? I learned my lesson.
I would hope you okay.
I learned my lesson. So that's how that goes.
Okay.
I was telling you to drop that a long time ago.
You really did. And I was just like,
the whole situation seemed wrong.
He said he's a man of God, and he said we're supposed to be together.
And that was the number one thing right there.
Right.
Why he gotta be feeling like he gonna dish that out? Why you gotta go that route and constantly say things of that nature? Like, you don't need to do that.
Yeah, a lot of
you voice that, but that shouldn't be considered the quality that you're going with when you putting yourself out there. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree with you. That's a 20-year thing I had to learn. You know, that I can't go off of what you say. I gotta go off what you do. Just because you say and feel with the spirit and go from praying with me on the phone.
Who believe in God and follow God and are total pieces of shit.
They really.
On the flip side,
I ain't trying to mess y'all up, men of God, but majority of y'all
who don't believe in God and don't follow God, and they are what you would expect for a person to look like and be like.
So piety is not a good measure of the person. That's what I'm saying, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Religion does not equal morality.
Piety is not a good.
That's true. I think they imply way too much when it comes to religion and
of what a person is supposed to look like and be like and whatnot.
Yeah.
We are on this world. We are in this world not to be alone. Okay? Relationships are important. Regardless of how bad people feel like, you know what, I've been through it all. I'm just gonna be lonely. Like that's not the correct path. Relationships are important. And whether you end up finding the quote unquote one, just know that it's gonna take time.
Although they do say that there's this like genetic code that you can
Oh Lord, here we go. There is somebody out there for everybody. There's a one that you're genetically predisposed to, is what she was saying.
Of Netflix.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Tripping, man.
Thank you guys for watching to the end of this video. We greatly appreciate you staying this long and watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We will be back next week for our next topic. We greatly appreciate you guys again, and we'll see you guys later.
I don't know how to do hearts.
I don't know how to do hearts either. I blow kisses.
I can't do it. I can't. Mine's more like a circle.
Fingers, girl.
Circle.
We gonna get monetized for these gang signs y'all holding up. These gangs.